749,825. That's how many marijuana related arrests were made in 2012 in the entire United States. Is the legalization of marijuana really a bad thing? That's what we'll be discussing today. I'm Dustin Bryant, and today I'll be talking about my thoughts on the legalization of marijuana throughout the United States. In my first point, we'll discuss its positive effect on the economy, at least in my opinion. In my second point, we'll discuss the benefits it could have on impacting the crime rate in the US and crime in general. And then lastly, we'll be talking about how less harmful it is, at least compared to other addictive drugs, such as tobacco and alcohol. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Legalization of marijuana in the United States could have a big positive impact on the economy. Obviously, marijuana is a very big import and export from places like Mexico and Colombia. People were bringing it in, selling it for thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Well, why not put this money to good use? As long as we legalize it, we can use it, right? We can use it to boost the economy. When Colorado legalized marijuana, they saw an increase of $10.8 million in just sales tax alone in 4 months after they legalized it all. Now think about what $10.8 million could do or be if it was 50 states doing the same thing Colorado's doing. We could do great things. We could build more schools, build more hospitals. We could provide more financial and health benefits for people like first responders, EMTs, police officers, maybe even military, and also teachers. Pay the people who are really making an impact a little bit more. With that money right there, it's hand over fist. I mean, it's plenty of money to go around. Why not use it for good? With that being said, 53% of the population agrees to legalize marijuana. Do I agree with that? I think so. Granted, I'm in the military and I wouldn't be able to, I guess you could say, partake in the activities, which is fine because I have no need to or desire to. I was a kid once and I'm an adult now, so things have changed. However, I really see that the legalization of it could just bring in tons and tons of money, maybe make a dent on the national debt that we're in right now. So we talked about the economical benefits of legalization. So let's move on to how it could affect the crime in the US. I really feel like it would reduce crime tremendously. Think about it. You got your kids in the inner cities or in the suburbs, instead of sneaking outside their house in the middle of the night or selling their parents' jewelry and whatever else and trading at the pawn shops, they could simply go down the street, as long as they're 18, and purchase a bag of marijuana. 10, 50, 100 bucks. If that's what they want to spend their paychecks on and decide to walk to work instead of owning a car or a TV or an Xbox in their room, so be it. As long as they're being responsible about it. And as long as we treat it just as they do alcohol and tobacco, put an age limit on it, put a quantity. No driving under the influence of marijuana would obviously be a no-brainer. And I really think it would take away from the wow factor, at least for teenagers. Because as a teen, like I said, I was a kid once, and it's kind of the, ooh, it's the bad thing to do, so let's do it kind of concept. And if you legalize it, kind of takes that away, at least in my eyes. So that is one benefit from legalizing it. The US currently spends close to $4 billion a year enforcing drug laws. That's right, $4 billion. That's a lot of zeros. That's also a lot of zeros that could go towards maybe keeping people out of prison that don't necessarily need to be there. Guys who are kind of just petty criminals who don't really have a big violent past. They kind of just sell dope or whatever else to make a little bit of money for themselves or their family, or just even as a hobby. Now think about it. Do those people really need to be in jail? Because I can think of a ton of other things I'd rather throw somebody in jail for than maybe just selling a pound of weed a month. I mean, that's probably all relative and very opinionated, but it's my opinion. So now we've talked about how it could decrease the crime rate, at least in my eyes. Let's talk about how less harmful it is, at least in comparison to tobacco and alcohol. Tobacco contains nicotine, which is the addictive element in cigarettes. Marijuana has no nicotine. It does, however, have THC, which apparently acts as a cough drop, so to speak. It loosens up the lungs and actually increases breathing. Excuse me. Whereas THC acts as a total opposite. It constricts your lungs and prohibits you from breathing freely, much as somebody who doesn't smoke would. According to drugpolicy.org, 69% of people believe that alcohol is more harmful than marijuana. And I would fully agree. I've never heard of a news story online or on Fox News, what have you, of someone dying of a marijuana related incident. But how many times can I count on how many hands in the classroom on how many stories we've heard of alcohol related incidents, drunk driving, domestic assaults with a alcohol substance in the whereabouts and actually taking effect and being the root cause of the issue. I could go on and on. And I've also never heard of anybody dying from smoking marijuana either. And I'm sure none of you have as well. Granted, not to say that it doesn't happen, but it certainly doesn't happen as much as alcohol causes deaths. That was my speech. Briefly, we discussed its effect on the economy and how I think it would be a positive impact. We discussed its its impact on the crime rate. It would hopefully decrease because, according to statistics, Colorado saw a 10% decrease in overall crime rate and 4% decrease as far as violent crimes, which is obviously a good thing. Not to say they're totally related to marijuana being legalized, but it's food for thought. And then lastly, we talked about the health characteristics of marijuana, and in comparison to things like tobacco and alcohol, which are a big giant or titan in the market of, impairing substances. So I'm Dustin Bryant. I hope you enjoyed this speech, and I hope you look forward to my refutation speech where I argued the exact opposite. Thank you and have a good day.